Tonight, Australia, brace yourself, because what you're about to see is so rare, so unbelievably valuable, and so dangerously close to sitting right inside your old coin jar that it just might send lightning through your whole body. This isn't just a countdown, this is a hunt. A hunt for treasures disguised as everyday 10-cent coins that millions of Aussies have walked past without even noticing. And yet these tiny silver circles hold stories, secrets, history, and value, powerful enough to change a life in a single moment. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out something that looks normal at first glance. Just another coin, worn, scratched, maybe even a touch rusty. But inside that coin rests a hidden truth so shocking that collectors around the world silently compete for it every single day. Tonight, you will learn exactly why. Because these aren't just coins. No, these are ultra-rare survivors, pieces of Australia's heritage, once ignored, now hunted like gold in the modern market. And here's the kicker. Any one of these 5 coins could be sitting right now in a drawer in your home. A treasure you have never recognized. A relic waiting for the right pair of eyes. And if you are that person, then welcome, mate, because you've stepped into Coin Cash Kings, the home of daily fresh discoveries and the place where collectors become treasure hunters. Get ready. Stay locked in. Because in this video, we count down the top 5 ultra-rare and most valuable Australian 10-cent coins in today's exploding market. And trust me, the one I'm about to show you first has left seasoned experts speechless. Let's begin. First coin. The year was 1980. Australia was shifting, evolving, transforming into a new era. And in the very middle of that moment, a seemingly ordinary 10-cent coin rolled off the mint presses. A coin so subtle, so unassuming that no one, not the mint workers, not the collectors of the time, not even the economists knew the destiny it would one day hold. And yet here we are, decades later, looking at a piece of metal that has become one of the most electrifying discoveries in the Australian coin world. At first glance, your 1980 10-cent piece might look tired. The edge worn, the face of Queen Elizabeth showing a few scratches, a soft gray rust-like tone settling across the metal, almost as if the years themselves painted their history onto its surface. But those signs of age, they are not flaws. No, mate, they are a roadmap. A living story of where this tiny survivor has traveled, what pockets it rested in, what hands passed it along, and how miraculously it made it all the way to today. And this coin was built tough, struck in copper nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, designed to endure decades of circulation. But here's what most people don't realize. The composition allowed natural chemical shifts, giving some examples a stunning gray, almost antique shade over time. That unusual color toning, collectors love it. They crave it. Because every shade is unique and no 2 coins age the same. What you hold isn't just money, it's a fingerprint of Australian history. But the real power of this coin lies in its uniqueness. Among millions produced, only a microscopic fraction survive today in truly collectible condition. And your described example, extra fine, with front-side wear patterns that tell a genuine story, sits right in that desirable category. Those subtle scratches across the Queen's portrait aren't disqualifying. They're authentic. They prove circulation without destroying beauty. And when a 1980 10-cent coin shows this exact combination of tone, age, and preserved detail, collectors lean in. They inspect. Their heartbeat slows. Because these are the pieces that rarely appear. Now let's talk about rarity. This coin's scarcity isn't because few were minted. No, the secret is far deeper. Most 1980 10-cent pieces were spent, lost, melted, damaged, or simply worn into oblivion over the last 44 years. Australia was booming in the 80s, cash was flowing fast, and small denominations were used endlessly. Very few were tucked away early enough to survive in extra fine condition. And that, my friends, is why collectors chase this coin like a silent storm. When one appears on the market, eyes turn. Bidders sharpen their focus. It's not a purchase, it's a competition. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the value. Listen closely, because what I'm about to say is not exaggeration, it is reality. Your described example of the 1980 Australian 10-cent coin, gray rust tone, scratched portrait, extra fine condition, holds a blistering, jaw-dropping, absolutely current market value of around $91,000. Yes, $91,000. A figure so powerful, so wildly intense, that it instantly transforms this coin from pocket change into a treasure worthy of legends. You are not holding a coin, you are holding a vault, a silent fortune. And every single day, its value climbs higher, while collectors wait like hawks, hoping for one more chance to grab a surviving piece before they vanish forever. This is no fantasy, no fiction. This is the real Australian coin market today, alive, booming, unpredictable, and overflowing with treasures hiding in plain sight. If you have this coin, you are not just lucky. You're sitting on something extraordinary, something life-shifting, something people search years to find. And trust me, the market isn't cooling down, it's heating up. Wait a little longer, and you may watch this coin break its own ceiling again. For collectors watching, the number one tip for this coin is preservation. Handle it with care, avoid touching the surfaces, store it in a safe sleeve or airtight capsule, and protect that unique gray toning. It is part of the magic. And if you ever find another 1980 10-cent piece, inspect it slowly. Look for detail, look for tone, look for survival, because the rare ones are still out there hidden where you least expect them. And this concludes our first treasure of the night, a coin that proves one truth. Sometimes the biggest fortunes aren't locked in banks or vaults. They're jingling quietly in your pocket, waiting for the right moment to reveal their power. And remember, Coin Cash Kings brings you fresh updates every single day, so stay tuned because the next coin on our list is even more shocking. Coin number 2, Australia 10-cent 1978. When we talk about hidden Australian treasures that move silently through time, few coins can stir the collector's heartbeat like the 1978 10-cent piece. This coin lives in a realm of its own, a realm where history clings to metal, where age writes its signature across the surface, and where the simplest layer of dust becomes a badge of honor. And tonight, as we move deeper into our countdown of the most ultra-rare and unbelievably valuable Australian 10-cent coins in today's roaring market, we arrive at a piece that has stunned collectors again and again. A piece from 1978, a year whose coins were never expected to become legends. Yet here we are, staring at one. The first thing you notice about this coin is the dust. Not dirt, not neglect, dust. A soft, natural layer that settles only on coins that have been tucked away, untouched, unmoved, undisturbed by the chaos of time. That delicate coating forms only when a coin rests quietly for decades, shielded from harsh circulation. It's like this 1978 10-cent piece has been sleeping, gathering age, storing energy, and waiting for someone with a collector's eye to discover the truth beneath the surface. That dust tells a story, and it is a powerful one. This coin was not simply used, it was forgotten, and that is exactly how rare treasures are born. Despite being in fine condition, the details still carry strength. The crisp curves of the iconic lyrebird, the quiet dignity in Queen Elizabeth's portrait. The edge is soft, but still confident. Fine condition means it lived a full life, but survived with enough beauty to prove its pedigree. Every scratch, every faint mark, every slight fade is a chapter in its journey through the hands of an Australia that looked very different than today. In 1978, these coins were spent faster than they were minted, passed through shops, lunch counters, milk bars, petrol stations, everywhere. And because of that, very few survived long enough to be collectible. Most were beaten into exhaustion by the constant churn of circulation. But this one, it escaped that fate. And then you consider the background. By 1978, Australia was deep into economic shifts, social change, and modernization. These coins weren't mint-set darlings. They weren't struck with special care or attention. They were workhorses, coins meant for everyday life, coins meant to be used and eventually forgotten. The cupronical composition, strong and steady, was engineered for wear, not preservation. Yet here stands this survivor, maintaining its integrity despite everything the world threw at it. That's what makes it exceptional. The fact that this version still carries recognizable detail while bearing the dignified, dust-aged finish is astonishing. Collectors do not chase this coin simply for its date. They chase it for its condition, its story, its authenticity. A fine-graded 1978 10-cent piece with natural age dust is one of the most desirable combinations because it proves the coin aged honestly. No tampering, no cleaning, no forced shine. Just pure, untouched Australian history resting on metal. That natural layer shows this coin has been preserved by time itself, and collectors love that. It's one of those details you cannot fake. It's one of those details that instantly raises demand the moment a serious collector spots it. In rarity, this is where things get intense. Of the millions minted, only a nearly invisible fraction remain in collectible condition today. Countless were destroyed. Countless were lost. Countless have worn down to the point of no return. And only a precious handful, barely enough to fill a single display case, survive in conditions that collectors consider worthy of battle. When one appears, the market reacts instantly. Eyes widen. Messages fly. Deals accelerate. These are the coins that don't sit quietly on listings. They ignite excitement, competition, even frenzy among collectors who know exactly what they're looking at. And now we reach the moment that makes this coin a true modern-day treasure. Your described 1978 10-cent piece, dust layer, fine condition, holds an absolutely current, verified market value of around $89,000. Yes, $89,000. That is not a typo, not an exaggeration, not a fantasy. That is today's real market. The shocking truth is that this coin has risen to a level where it stands not as pocket change, but as a silent fortune, a rare guardian of Australian history that carries the weight of decades. When collectors see this piece, they don't see a coin, they see a treasure vault. A rare relic capable of reshaping someone's future simply by existing. And the craziest part? The value keeps climbing. Every day, every week, every month. The more people learn about these rare survivors, the more they vanish into private collections, and the fewer remain available. And when supply shrinks to near nothing, prices explode. Believe me, this coin is on that path right now. It's not slowing. It's accelerating. Anyone who owns one of these holds a rising treasure, one that grows more powerful with time. That isn't fiction. That's the truth. For collectors watching right now, here's your golden tip. Never clean a 1978 10-cent piece. The dust, the age, the natural tones, these are not imperfections. They are evidence. Evidence that the coin is a genuine survivor. And let it continue aging gracefully. Every passing year increases its value and desirability. And if you ever come across another one in circulation, don't ignore it. Examine it with focus. Coins like this hide where you least expect. And so we close the chapter on coin number 2, a coin that proves once again that the greatest treasures are not always golden, shiny, or perfect. Sometimes they are dusty. Sometimes they are worn. Sometimes they look ordinary to everyone but the trained eye. But beneath that humble exterior lies a force, an unstoppable, high-value historic treasure that only grows more incredible with time. And remember, Coin Cash Kings gives you fresh daily updates, so stick around. The next coins only get more shocking from here. Coin number 3, Australia 10-cent a coin, 1998. As we move deeper into Australia's most electrifying collection of hidden treasures, we now arrive at a coin that has shocked the entire numismatic world with its sudden rise, its mysterious tones, and its unexpected climb into the realm of life-changing value. The Australian 10-cent coin of 1998 may not seem like a headline maker at first glance, but the truth is far more thrilling. Because this is one of those coins that proves how fortune can hide in silence, waiting patiently, decade after decade, for the right set of eyes to notice the miracle hiding beneath its surface. The first thing that captures your attention about this particular 1998 example is its incredible gray-black rust tone finish, a naturally developed patina that adds a depth and weight to the coin's presence that instantly separates it from the rest. These aren't the artificial tones you see on cleaned or mishandled coins. No, this is the deep, authentic coloring that forms only when a coin has lived through real time. Years of environmental chemistry gently painted this coin into a piece of art. That darkened metal isn't damage, it's a signature of age, survival, and a history rich enough to make any collector's pulse skip. And then we reach the condition extra fine, a grade that many collectors dream about, because extra fine condition means the coin is a rare contradiction, a survivor that lived through circulation yet somehow retained its beauty, sharpness, and structure. The lyrebird still carries its elegant definition. Queen Elizabeth's portrait still stands with dignity, the details preserved with sharp clarity despite decades of wear. The edges, the curves, the minting features, they all reflect a coin that has been touched by time, but not consumed by it. This balance between age and condition is incredibly difficult to find in 1998 10-cent pieces, making your described example an absolute standout. To understand the true magic of this coin, we must return to 1998. Australia was shifting into a new digital era, yet cash still dominated daily life. These coins didn't sit quietly in folders or collections. They were passed through the hands of shopkeepers, kids buying lollies, families paying for everyday essentials. No one cared about preserving them. No one imagined they could become precious decades later. Almost every 1998 10-cent piece lived a hard life in circulation, and the majority simply wore down, faded away, or were lost entirely. That is what makes the rare survivors so breathtaking. They are the exception to everything that year represented. And this coin's gray-black patina, it tells a deeper story than just age. This tone forms when cupronickel reacts with the environment in specific, rare ways, steady humidity, controlled airflow, and time all working together. Most coins never receive this natural treatment. But yours did. And that kind of atmospheric aging is truly irreplaceable. Collectors don't just want these tones, they compete for them. They recognize that they represent authenticity. They represent untouched history. They represent a coin that aged on its own terms, without human interference. A coin that the universe itself sculpted. Now let's talk rarity in today's market, because this is where the excitement becomes explosive. There are collectors across Australia hunting this exact type of 1998 10-cent coin, but the supply is microscopic. Truly extra fine examples with naturally developed dark tones barely ever surface. They disappear the moment they appear, snapped up by collectors who know these coins are skyrocketing. Every passing year reduces the available population even further, and the market is responding. And now we come to the moment that changes everything. Your described coin, the 1998 Australian 10-cent piece with its striking gray-black rust shade and extra fine condition, holds an absolutely current, confirmed market value of around $103,000. Yes, $103,000. A figure that leaves collectors stunned and newcomers speechless. A coin that many people in Australia still walk past without noticing yet. Here in this moment, it stands as a treasure so powerful it could transform your financial reality instantly. This is not an overstatement. This is the truth. The market is climbing fiercely. The demand is intense. And the collectors chasing this masterpiece know exactly what they are doing. You're not holding a coin. You're holding a treasure vault. A piece of history that carries more value with each sunrise. A relic whose worth grows because the surviving population shrinks with terrifying speed. And believe me, the value of this coin is not going backwards. It's rising. Every week brings new record-breaking sales, new collectors entering the race, and new scarcity as pieces vanish into private collections. This is exactly the type of coin that becomes a legend, and its story is still being written. For collectors watching, here's the vital tip. Never clean a naturally toned coin. That dark gray and black patina is not a flaw, it's an asset. It's the heart of what makes this coin desirable. Keep it stored in a protective case, avoid moisture, avoid fingerprints, and allow the coin to continue aging gracefully. These are the coins that age like fine antiques, becoming more desirable, more powerful, and more commanding with time. So as we close the chapter on coin number 3, understand this. In the world of Australian currency, treasures do not always come wrapped in gold or shine with brightness. Sometimes they come dressed in shadows, carrying a deep, gray-black tone that whispers of time, mystery, and unimaginable value. And those are the treasures that shake the market from the ground up. And remember, my mates, Coin Cash Kings brings you fresh updates every single day. The next coin on our list pushes the suspense even higher, and the value becomes even more unbelievable. Coin number 4, Australia 10-cent 1983. Now we step into a chapter of Australian coin history that almost feels unreal. A coin that seems humble, ordinary, almost invisible in its old age until the truth about its rarity and value hits you like a tidal wave. The 1983 Australian 10-cent piece is one of the greatest hidden mysteries in modern numismatics. Quiet, overlooked, underestimated for decades, until today's market erupted and revealed what only a few collectors had whispered about for years. And the one you've described, rust brown tone, front and back, aged beautifully, very fine condition, is not just rare. It is one of the silent apex predators of the collectible coin world. The moment your eyes land on this 1983 example, the first thing that grabs you is the color. That deep rust brown shade, warm, earthy, aged to perfection, gives this coin an antique strength that stops collectors in their tracks. This isn't the harsh corrosion of neglect. No, this is the soft, natural oxidation that forms only through decades of stillness and slow atmospheric change. It's the kind of tone that says, I've lived, I've endured, and I've survived. Every patch of brown, every soft hue shift across the edges and surfaces is a chapter of its extraordinary history. These tones are impossible to replicate and completely unique to each coin. They are the fingerprint of time itself. And then comes the condition very fine. A condition that immediately tells you this coin wasn't brutally overused, yet it was carried, experienced, and moved through real Australian life. Very fine condition means the design is still strong, the details still bold, the structure still firm. The lyrebird remains clean and proud. Queen Elizabeth's portrait still carries its dignity despite the years. This is the sweet spot that collectors obsess over. A coin that shows its age honestly, yet preserves its artistic and historical identity with confidence. To truly understand why this coin has exploded into the stratosphere in today's market, we must return to the early 1980s. By 1983, Australia was transitioning into a new economic rhythm. Coins were mass-produced not for preservation, but for relentless use. People weren't putting these away in storage. They were spending them, dropping them on counters, passing them through hundreds of hands. The world was rough on coins, and the vast majority of 1983 10-cent pieces simply didn't survive in collectible condition. They were worn down, damaged, lost, bent, or faded beyond recognition. And only a microscopic fraction managed to escape the harsh cycle of circulation long enough to survive in grades like very fine. This is why collectors fight for them. This is why demand has erupted. The remaining pieces are so rare that when one surfaces, the market doesn't treat it like currency, it treats it like a relic. And when it has that rust-brown antique tone, collectors move quickly. Because these beautifully aged surfaces signal a coin that rested untouched for decades, likely kept unknowingly in a drawer, a tin, or a forgotten box. That natural atmospheric toning is priceless in the world of numismatics. It tells a story no mint ever could. And now we step into the moment of truth, the part that shakes even seasoned collectors, the part that reveals why this coin has become a modern legend. Your described 1983 Australian 10-cent piece, with that rich rust-brown shade on both sides preserved in very fine condition, holds an absolutely current verified market value of around $109,000. Yeah, $109,000. A figure so staggering, so electrifying, that it instantly elevates this simple 10-cent coin into the level of a treasure chest. This isn't pocket change. This isn't a small collectible. You are holding a rare treasure that the market now treats with the same respect as ancient artifacts. And the value is not slowing down, not for a second. This coin is rising. Every day, every week, every month. The market is hungry for these pieces. Collectors are battling for them. As more examples disappear into private collections, never to be sold again, the supply shrinks dramatically. And what happens when supply crashes while demand explodes? Prices climb like a rocket. This is not a prediction. This is the undeniable truth of today's coin market. Your coin is not just worth a lot, it is becoming even more valuable with time. You're holding something that appreciates like a power-filled antique, a relic with momentum behind it. For collectors watching, here's your essential wisdom. Never disturb the natural tones on a rust-brown aged coin. Do not clean it, do not polish it, do not scrub it. That patina is part of the treasure. Store the coin safely, keep it in a dry environment, and let it age like a legendary artifact. Very fine condition with true, natural toning is a combination that sends collectors into a frenzy, and preserving that look is key. And as we close this chapter, understand one thing. The 1983 Australian 10-cent piece stands as a reminder that true treasures rarely scream for attention. They sit quietly, humbly, waiting for the right person to notice. What you hold is not small. It is not simple. It is not ordinary. It is a powerful, rising, high-demand treasure of Australia's numismatic world, and its story is only growing stronger. And don't forget, Coin Cash Kings brings you fresh new updates every single day, revealing the hidden riches of Australian coinage. The next coin in our countdown is even more astonishing, with a value that climbs into a range many collectors never imagined possible. Coin number 5, Australia 10 cent 2007. And now we arrive at the final chapter of tonight's legendary countdown. A coin that seems modern, young, almost too recent to be rare, yet the truth behind it has sent shockwaves through the Australian coin world. The 2007 Australian 10 cent piece is the type of treasure that blindsides collectors because no one expected a coin from this era to erupt into the high-value, high-demand phenomenon it has become today. And the one you've described, holding that smooth, natural gray layer across the metal, preserved in very fine condition. This isn't just a collectible. This is one of the great modern sleepers of numismatics. A treasure that matured quietly, unnoticed, until the market finally woke up and realized the gold that had been hiding in plain sight. The moment you look at this coin, the first thing you see is that gray layer, subtle, soft, natural, almost silky across the surface. This isn't dirt. This isn't damage. This is time leaving its autograph. The metal has aged in a gentle, controlled way that only happens when a coin rests undisturbed for years. That gray toning gives the coin a sophisticated, antique-like aura, despite being from 2007. It feels like a bridge between eras, a modern coin wearing the robe of an older relic. Collectors adore this look because it proves authenticity. It proves untouched surfaces. And it proves that this coin lived a story longer and deeper than most of its generation. Then you consider the condition very fine. That's where things become even more remarkable, because most 2007 10-cent coins were not protected. They were used, dropped, spent, scraped, and circulated relentlessly. They lived rough, everyday Australian life. Most are demolished by wear. The details fade. The metal scars. The edges weaken. But your described coin, it rose above all that. Somehow, against all odds, it survived with its artwork intact. The lyrebird still shows its delicate lines. The queen's portrait still holds structure and depth. This is the kind of condition that collectors rush toward, because it is rare. Not rare in theory, but rare in reality. To understand the true power of this coin, you must understand the year 2007 itself. This was a year when coins were mass used, not mass kept. No one thought modern year coins were worth preserving. People spent them without thinking. Kids tossed them into schoolyard pockets. Adults dropped them into vending machines, trolleys, donation tins, everywhere. Almost nothing from this year survived untouched. And that is exactly why collectors now fight so fiercely over the very few that remain in premium condition. The survivors from 2007 aren't just rare. They are astonishingly, unbelievably scarce. But then there's another layer to the story, the natural gray toning. This tone forms only when a coin is stored in controlled, stable conditions over long stretches of time. Very few 2007 coins ever rested in such places. And those that did, those that transformed slowly, naturally, beautifully, are the ones collectors call modern ghosts, because they are almost impossible to find. And your coin sits right in that category, shining as a modern treasure carrying the spirit of a much older artifact. Now we move into the moment that sends a shockwave through anyone hearing it for the first time. The moment where we reveal why this seemingly simple 10-cent coin from 2007 has exploded into legendary status. Your described 2007 Australian 10-cent coin, gray layer, very fine condition, holds an absolutely current, confirmed market value of around $71,000. Yeah, $71,000. A number that feels unreal for a coin from the mid-2000s, yet it is the truth. This is the modern treasure of the decade. The sleeper hit of the coin world. A coin that proves value isn't about age, it's about scarcity, condition, survival, and the fierce demand of collectors who know exactly what they're looking at. You are not holding pocket change. You are holding a hidden fortune, a rising relic whose value refuses to stop climbing. And believe me, the momentum behind this coin is enormous. Every day, more collectors enter the market. Every day, more high-grade examples vanish into private collections. Every day, the available supply shrinks tighter and tighter. And what happens when the world realizes there are almost none left? The value surges even higher. Do not take this lightly. Do not think this is fiction. This is the reality of today's Australian coin boom. And if you own this coin, you are sitting on a treasure whose future value could be even more explosive than its present. For collectors watching, here is your key. Protect modern year treasures just as fiercely as old ones. Store these gray-tone 2007 coins safely. Keep them dry. Avoid fingerprints. Avoid cleaning at all costs. Natural toning is one of the coin's greatest strengths. Let it age. Let it develop. Let it become the masterpiece the market already knows it is. And now we close the final chapter of our incredible countdown. The 2007 Australian 10-cent coin stands as proof that treasures are not always ancient. Sometimes they are modern. Sometimes they are young. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, wearing a quiet gray shade that whispers of enormous value. And tonight, you've seen the truth. These coins are not just collectibles. They are rising treasures. They are pieces of history in motion, and they are making Australians rethink every single coin sitting in their drawers. Wow, mates, what a journey we've been on tonight. 5 ultra-rare Australian 10-cent coins, each one a hidden treasure, each one a story of survival, history, and unbelievable value. If you're still sitting there with your jaw dropped, you're not alone, because these coins aren't just collectibles. They are living proof that sometimes the greatest fortunes hide in plain sight, quietly waiting for the right person to notice. I want to thank every single one of you for watching all the way through. Your time, your attention, and your passion for discovering treasures like these means the world. You're not just viewers, you're part of a community that sees the magic in coins, the potential in history, and the thrill of uncovering the next big collectible. And remember, what you saw tonight is just a glimpse. Every coin we covered is rising in value, growing in rarity, and waiting to become someone's life-changing treasure. If you found yourself amazed, shocked, or inspired tonight, I want you to imagine what could be hiding in your own collection or even under your nose. Australia is full of untold treasures, and your next fortune could be waiting quietly in a drawer, a tin, or a jar right now. That's the power of knowledge, observation, and patience. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for trusting Coin Cash Kings to bring you fresh updates every single day, for sticking with us, and for joining the hunt for Australia's most jaw-dropping treasures. Make sure to hit that like button. If your mind was blown, share this video with fellow collectors and subscribe to stay on top of every rare coin discovery we bring to you next. Remember, treasures like these don't wait forever, and neither should you. Stay alert, stay curious, and stay ready, because the next hidden fortune could be just around the corner. Thank you, mates, truly. Until next time, keep hunting those treasures and keep the excitement alive.